Hello, fellow seeker. Welcome to the WordScaper, your quiet corner for gentle reflections, a sanctuary where we can pause and truly listen. Today we delve into a profound and perhaps uncomfortable question. What if hope, this seemingly indispensable virtue, is in fact an addiction you need to let go of? In the grand tapestry of human emotion, hope is often painted as the golden thread, weaving through despair, illuminating paths in the darkest nights, and providing the impetus for perseverance. From ancient scriptures to modern self-help gurus, hope is championed as an indispensable virtue, the very fuel that propels us forward, an unassailable bastion against the encroaching darkness of cynicism and resignation. We are taught to never lose hope, to hold on to hope, to find hope in the face of adversity. It is the whispered prayer in times of crisis, the quiet resolve in the face of insurmountable odds, the very essence of human resilience. But what if this pervasive, almost sacred belief in hope conceals a darker truth? What if hope, in its most insidious forms, is not a virtue but a vice? What if it is not a beacon of light, but a comforting illusion, a potent psychological opiate that dulls our senses, distorts our reality, and ultimately holds us captive? What if hope is, in fact, an addiction, a compulsive craving for a future state that prevents us from truly inhabiting, accepting, and acting within the present? This is not an argument for despair, nor an embrace of nihilism. Instead, it is an invitation to a radical re-examination of one of our most cherished emotions, to explore the profound liberation that might await us on the other side of letting go of hope's addictive grip. To truly understand hope as a potential addiction, we must first strip away the layers of sentimentality and examine its raw, unvarnished nature. Hope, at its core, is a belief in a positive outcome concerning events in one's life or the world at large, accompanied by a desire for that outcome to materialize. It is inherently future-oriented, tethered to what might be rather than what is. Here lies the critical distinction. There is a form of hope that is active and constructive, a hopeful resolve that fuels diligent effort, strategic planning, and resilient action towards a desired goal. This is the hope of the entrepreneur meticulously building their business, the activist tirelessly campaigning for change, or the student diligently studying for an exam. This is hope as a catalyst for engagement with reality, a recognition that the future is malleable through present effort. However, there is another, more pervasive and often unexamined form of hope: passive, wishful hope. This is hope as a form of deferral, an emotional and psychological escape hatch. It is the person who wishes for a lottery win rather than building financial stability, the individual who passively waits for a relationship to miraculously improve without engaging in difficult conversations, or the society that hopes for a benevolent leader to solve all its problems without demanding accountability or participating in civic action. This passive hope is often divorced from effort, rooted in magical thinking, and designed to protect us from the discomfort of present reality, the pain of acceptance, or the daunting responsibility of action. It is this second form that bears the hallmarks of addiction. Consider the mechanics of addiction. At its heart, addiction is a compulsive engagement with a substance or behavior despite harmful consequences, driven by a powerful reward system within the brain. The substance provides an immediate, albeit temporary, surge of pleasure or relief, followed by a crash, leading to a craving for more. Hope, particularly the passive, wishful variety, mirrors this pattern with startling precision. When we hope, especially when faced with an unpleasant or challenging reality, our brains release neurochemicals associated with reward and anticipation. Dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter, surges. This surge provides a fleeting sense of comfort, a temporary reprieve from anxiety, fear, or sadness. It's the psychological equivalent of a hit. For a moment, the future seems brighter, the current predicament less dire, the burden lighter. This is the high of hope. But like any addictive substance, this high is ephemeral. Reality inevitably intrudes. The hoped-for outcome doesn't materialize, or the challenging situation persists. The dopamine recedes, leaving behind a void, a feeling of disappointment, disillusionment, or even despair. This is the withdrawal. To alleviate this discomfort, we instinctively seek another hit of hope. We adjust our expectations, find new reasons to believe, latch onto new narratives of future deliverance. Maybe if I just wait a little longer, perhaps something will turn up. Surely things have to get better. This creates a vicious, self-perpetuating cycle, a dopamine loop of deferral. This addictive cycle allows us to procrastinate on difficult decisions. Why confront a failing relationship when you can hope it will miraculously improve? Why seek new employment when you can hope for a promotion that isn't coming? Why accept a diagnosis when you can hope for a spontaneous remission? Hope becomes a powerful mechanism for avoiding pain, responsibility, and the hard work of acceptance and action. It offers a seductive promise of effortless deliverance, an alluring fantasy that keeps us from engaging with the messy, often uncomfortable truth of our present circumstances. If hope is an addiction, then it binds us with invisible chains, preventing us from true freedom and authentic living. Perhaps the most profound way hope enslaves us is by preventing radical acceptance. Acceptance is the courageous act of acknowledging reality exactly as it is, without illusion, denial, or wishful thinking. Addictive hope, however, clings desperately to an alternative reality. It whispers, "It shouldn't be this way," or "It will get better, just wait." This constant striving against what is, this refusal to meet reality head-on, is a source of immense suffering. It keeps us in a state of perpetual resistance, fighting a battle that exists primarily within our own minds. When we passively hope, we unconsciously abdicate our agency. We project our desires onto an imagined future, waiting for external circumstances or a benevolent universe to deliver us. This passive stance can lead to a profound sense of helplessness. If our well-being hinges on a future outcome, and that outcome is beyond our direct control, we become victims of circumstance. True empowerment, however, arises from recognizing what is within our control, our attitude, our effort, our choices in the present moment. Living in a constant state of not yet is inherently unsustainable. Addictive hope sets us up for continuous disappointment. Every unfulfilled expectation chips away at our emotional resilience, leading to chronic dissatisfaction. Furthermore, we fall prey to the sunk cost fallacy of hope. We've invested so much emotional energy, so much yearning into a particular future outcome, that we find it incredibly difficult to let go, even when all evidence suggests it's a lost cause. The fear of wasting our emotional investment keeps us trapped in a cycle of futile hope. When our gaze is fixed firmly on the horizon of hope, we become blind to the richness, beauty, and opportunities that exist in the present moment. We are so busy anticipating what might be that we fail to appreciate what is. The present, with its fleeting joys, its subtle lessons, and its immediate possibilities, is sacrificed on the altar of an imagined future. This robs us of genuine presence and mindfulness. The idea of letting go of hope can be terrifying because it confronts us with the perceived void. What fills the space if hope is gone? We fear that without hope, only despair, nihilism, or meaninglessness remains. This fear is a powerful deterrent, keeping us locked in the addictive cycle. However, this fear is often based on a misunderstanding of what a life beyond addictive hope truly entails. It suggests that by releasing hope, we might just be inviting a deeper form of freedom. To let go of hope as an addiction is not to embrace cynicism, apathy, or despair. On the contrary, it is an invitation to a deeper, more profound form of engagement with life. It is not about extinguishing all desire or ambition, but about transforming our relationship with the future and reclaiming our power in the present. The cornerstone of this liberation is embracing radical acceptance. This means confronting reality directly, acknowledging facts, and accepting what is without resistance. This doesn't mean condoning injustice or ceasing to strive for improvement. It means accepting the starting point, the current conditions, and then deciding how to act from that place of clarity, rather than from a place of wishful thinking. Acceptance is not resignation. It is the foundation for effective action. If hope pulls us into the future, then letting go of it brings us squarely into the present. The next step is cultivating present moment awareness. Mindfulness practices, meditation, and simply paying attention to our immediate experience can help us shift our focus from what if to what is. When we are fully present, we notice the subtle beauties, the immediate challenges, and the inherent richness of each moment. This allows for genuine connection with ourselves, others, and the world around us. This journey also calls for action without attachment to outcome. This is the highest form of liberation. Instead of acting in order to achieve a specific, hoped-for outcome, we act because it aligns with our values, because it is the right thing to do, or because it is the next logical step. The focus shifts from the destination to the journey, from the result to the effort. We put in the work, we make the calls, we engage, but we release our rigid attachment to how things must turn out. This doesn't mean we don't have goals. It means our peace and well-being are not contingent on their precise fulfillment. It allows for flexibility, adaptability, and an emotional resilience that isn't shattered by unmet expectations. Letting go of the need for a comforting future narrative requires courage in uncertainty. It means facing the unknown, the ambiguous, and the uncertain without the crutch of guaranteed positive outcomes. This is where true strength is forged. When we stop relying on hope to shield us from potential failure or disappointment, we develop the inner fortitude to navigate life's inevitable ups and downs with greater equanimity. We learn that we can handle whatever comes, not because we hoped it would be easy, but because we are capable of confronting reality. When we let go of passive hope, we reclaim genuine agency. We realize that our choices and actions in the present moment are the most potent tools we possess. Instead of waiting for things to get better, we ask, what can I do now? This shifts us from a reactive victim mentality to a proactive, empowered stance. We become the architects of our lives. Finally, a life liberated from addictive hope allows us to find meaning beyond outcomes. The addiction to hope often ties our sense of meaning and purpose to external outcomes. If the hoped-for future doesn't materialize, we feel lost. However, this liberation allows us to find meaning in the process itself, in the effort, the learning, the connection, the growth, regardless of the ultimate destination. The meaning isn't found out there in a future state, but in here, in the very act of living. Consider the person in a stagnant career, passively hoping for a promotion that never materializes, rather than proactively acquiring new skills, networking, or seeking new opportunities. Or the individual clinging to hope that a clearly toxic relationship will change, delaying the painful but necessary decision to leave. In these scenarios, hope isn't a motivator, it's a tranquilizer, preventing genuine growth and necessary change. Letting go of this hope doesn't mean giving up on improvement or love. It means accepting the current reality and taking concrete steps from a place of clarity and courage. The proposal that hope might be an addiction is a challenging one. stirring discomfort in those who have long held it as an unshakable good. But to consider it is to open a door to profound introspection. It is an invitation to distinguish between a healthy, active desire that fuels effort and a passive, wishful deferral that imprisons us in a cycle of anticipation and disappointment. Letting go of addictive hope is not about surrendering to a bleak world. It is about confronting the world as it is, with open eyes and a clear mind. It is about releasing the compulsive need for a comforting future narrative and finding peace, purpose, and genuine agency in the present. It is about cultivating a robust inner resilience that doesn't crumble when expectations are unmet, because its foundation lies in acceptance, presence, and courageous action. Perhaps the greatest freedom is not found in hoping for a better tomorrow, but in discovering the courage to fully inhabit, accept, and act powerfully in this moment, exactly as it is. What if, by letting go of hope's addictive grip, we don't lose anything, but gain everything?